What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Operation Overhaul, and on today's episode we are back on the 05 Canyon. I know it's been a few episodes, probably a couple weeks, but we're finally back on it. We're going to get to this and start getting everything taken off here. We're going to pull the head on it this time, and there is a toolkit that you can get. It's like the Fords where you can wedge. It's got like a cheese wedge. You can wedge it down into the timing chain and hold the timing chain in the correct position, and you don't have to pull all the covers and all that stuff off to do that. You can just pull the tensioners, not tensioners, but the sprockets off, and we'll put it in time and everything. We do have the kit with us. I'll show you what that is in a minute, but we are going to have to pull. I'm going to go ahead and probably pull the fuel rail. We don't have to because they do go directly into the head, but I'm going to pull it anyway just because I don't want to send that to the machine shop, because we're going to get the head surfaced, get the valves ground, get the seats like recut, maybe even replace them, we don't know yet. Put new valve guides in it, new valve stem seals. But I do have to grab a few tools and then I'll be right back. I decided to go ahead and show you the kit. Here is like the contents, and I think it might be some of the instructions, but here's the kit for the timing. You can see GM Engine Timing Master Kit. It is a Ferom Tools is where I got it at. They're not a sponsor or any of that, but here's the part number, FEPRO6547, and come with this right here is to hold your flywheel. This is your cam tool. It kind of holds the cams in place, and then here is your wedge right here, and that just wedges down into the timing area right down in there. But like I said, that is the part number right here. Whenever I get ready to put all this on, I will show y'all how to put everything on here correctly. But the first thing we are going to do, I'm going to set this to the side for right now, is I'm actually going to pull the fuel rail on this. And to do this should be some 10 millimeters, if I can get that out of the way. It should be some 10 millimeters, one right here, right there, and I think one right there. So you just pull those three out, and then you should be able to pull all the injectors out with the rail in one like clean motion. Now whenever you go to put it back on, just make sure you lube up the O-rings, or put new O-rings on it and lube them up, and make sure that they go in correctly and that they don't tear the old ones. And on here, I'm thinking you can pull all the head bolts on here without pulling the cams out, if I remember correctly, but we'll get to that whenever we need to. So like I said, let me pull this fuel rail out. It's just 3 10 millimeters, and you can pull out whenever I get ready to pull it out. I'll show it to you. I got the 3 bolts out now, and you can see it already moves. And all you're gonna do, I'm just gonna whip. That come out a lot easier than I thought it was going to, but this is it right here. Got it hung up on a wire, sorry. Is it right there? And I still got it hooked to the fuel rail right here, and if you want to, you can pop this out and disconnect it, but I'm just going to leave it connected just so I'm not getting fuel everywhere too. And it has these little seals right here on the front of it, this little O-ring right there, and then there's like another little cap piece right there. You can change both of those. I've seen where you can do it. I normally just change these O-rings out, but you can do whichever one you would like. Now we got everything off the head right here. Now we'll have to work on this side. So I'm going to take this right here off. This is a bracket that holds your transmission dipstick in. It's just a 10. You can break that off. Then we're going to take this cover off. And here is your O2 sensor wire. We did change that in the very first video. You can pull that off if you want to. I think you should be able to snake it around the cover, snake it around this fitting and everything. But we're going to break this 10 millimeter loose, and then it should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 or 5 other 10 millimeters, and then you can pull this cover off and we can start pulling the exhaust manifold off. So let me go ahead and break this off, get the cover off. If I have a hard time getting the cover off, I'll go ahead and pull the O2 sensor, but if not, and if I have to, I'll show it to you, but if not, I'll just leave it the way it is. Here's the cover right here, got it out. You do have to kind of bend it a little bit, especially right there on that corner, to get it around the exhaust. And took the O2 sensor out just because it made pulling it straight up a lot easier, and you can see the dipstick tube is extremely loose, so be mindful of that. Do not pull that out because you will lose transmission fluid. But we took the cover off. I did take some of the exhaust manifold bolts out. That's them right there. And we did find another discovery. Cylinder 5. I don't know how well y'all can see that, but there is a crack right there. So we're going to pull this exhaust manifold completely off. I got all the bolts except for one off, and only one of them broke, surprisingly. This one right here. It was the very last one on the back side. I noticed it was kind of loose, and I turned it one time and it come right out. I'm guessing it was already broke to begin with, but we got one bolt left. It is that one right there, and these are, I think, 13s. Yep, these are 13 millimeters, and I believe the exhaust pipe down below those are 13s or 15s. I haven't checked yet, but it's gonna be one of those. So I'm just gonna pull that last bolt off, then I'm gonna climb underneath and go ahead and take that collector off down there so we can get this exhaust manifold out. He is probably gonna have to get another manifold just because that is cracked. You probably got a used one somewhere around here for the 5 cylinders, since they're abundant in the junkyard. So let me finish taking the exhaust manifold off, and while I'm under there, I will show y'all the collector and where the bolts are, and I will even show you where the flywheel piece goes underneath, because it does go in between the transmission and engine area and holds the flywheel. I think there's like a cover down there, and where the bolt goes in for that bolts in as well. But we do have to put it in time first before we do this. Also, that'll help you torque like the cam gears back down once you put the head back in too. Got the exhaust manifold loose from the collector. I didn't show y'all because it was tight underneath there, but as soon as I get it out, I will. I'm gonna wait till I pull the cylinder head before I take this out. It'll just give me more room to do it, and I got it sitting down where it's not pressing up against anything, and there's no tension or anything like that on any parts down here. It's kind of resting on the motor mount and the bottom down there, so it ain't really that big of a deal. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drain the coolant, and I'm going to take this radiator hose right here off, because that does go into the head. And looking over here just to make sure we got everything else off on this side as well. Yeah, it looks like pretty much mostly everything is off except for this radiator hose, and then I just have to rotate the engine and put it in time just to make sure everything is good. And then I think we have one 10 millimeter right there, and the rest are Allen head bolts. There should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Should be like 12 of those. Now these are known to break off in the heads, so GM actually said to get a punch and go down into the center where you're gonna put your Allen head, put it in there and like hit it with the punch and a hammer, or I guess kind of like peening it, and it should like shock load the bolt, and it minimizes the breakage of the head bolts. So, and just take your time. Do not like crank down on it to break them loose. Just use a pry bar, a breaker bar, and just take your time. But I still have to get this in time and get all the tools on there. Also on the flywheel, I was thinking about something else that had the bolt hole, but this does go up in there. Whenever I put that in there, I got to get it in time first. I will bring y'all underneath there and show y'all how this goes inside. I got the cams up where they're supposed to, and I got it in time. Now these flat spots on the back should be even with each other, like that. Now on some of them, these flat spots will be even with where the spark plugs go in, across the surface of that. Well, mine's not one of those because the cams will sit lower down into the head on some models. Now you see how it's got the round portion on there. We're just gonna sit that in there, make sure it's good and flush. Then I'll try to show you all these timing marks. There's one right there, it's a little dot. I know it's kind of hard to see it. And then this one has like a little notch. These are kind of hard to see for some reason. Yeah, right there. But they will be at about, they're not going to be at the 12 o'clock position. The intake side will be probably like, I'd say 2 timing chain lengths off to the right, and the same goes with the exhaust. It should be 2 timing chain lengths off to the left, and I think it was saying something about 14 timing chain lengths between the two. Let's see, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13, yeah, about 13 or 14 in between the two. If you count the lengths, it's about 16, so about 15 or 16, so we're good on that. We got it in there. Now next step is I'm actually going to put this in. I'm going to show y'all how we do this. Alright, so we're underneath, and right here there's going to be this little rubber plug. It's like that. And here is the tool. You're going to go in this way. And come on. There we go. That right there should hold that, and it should keep it from rotating anymore. It's just that simple. Now we can start pulling all the head bolts off this. Now I do have to wedge it up first, but I'll show you where we'll wedge that at. Before I did anything past taking anything else off, what I did was push this down in here. Now got a flashlight, here we go. So this is where you want to slide it. It's going to be pretty close to the gear, as you can see, but you can pull back on it to pull the gear out. But you're going to slide it down in there, and it's going to wedge between the chain and a mounting bolt on the front cover. There'll be a picture of it up and stuff right here. You can see there's some of this right here. I'm going to put all that on the screen right now. But before I did anything else, what I did was marked my timing marks and the lengths that they went on. As you can see, got yellow paint marker right there and a yellow paint marker right there. So that right there lets me know where my timing marks are. Now what I'm going to do at this point is go ahead and start taking the cam gears off on here, and we will pull these off. And once we do that, we can start taking the heads off, head bolts out. Now, take these gears off. First thing I'm gonna do is pull these 2 tins right here off, and this little like timing chain guide will come off. So it might help if you read the instructions every once in a while, because once you get the little wedge down in there and placed where you want it, you just unscrew the handle. I did not know that it was threaded like that, so saw it and it said to unscrew it. I was like, nice, that is a fabulous design. I love that. So now everything is out of the way, so all we got left to do is pull these cam gears off, and we're going to tie this chain up just so we can make sure we have access to it in case it does fall. Hopefully it doesn't, but if it does, we will be ready for that. Oh, the only other thing I can see that I need to do is I gotta take this bracket off, or just take this little 10mm right here off to get the AC line out of the way. But that's the only other thing I need to do, because I think everything else is out of the way. So now this I think is a 15. This right here is an 8mm Allen, I believe. So we got a piece of wire on here, as you can see. Pretty loose. This gear is loose. That was an 8mm Allen. This was a 15mm hex socket, just standard socket. and I got a piece of wire on there just to keep track of the chain in case it falls, and I made it really long just so I can pull it up if I need to. I'm gonna set y'all down and so y'all can hopefully watch this. It might be a little dark, but you should still get the idea of what you need to do. Here's your actuator and your timing gear for your exhaust. Let's see if I can get this one off. May have to pull this. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pull this sensor out real quick. It is just a 10 millimeter because I just don't want to mess that one up, as I do have to come out a little further. And the bolt is actually really loose anyway. Too tight by fingers, too loose by just a ratchet. Here, pull it out. Of course, she's going to be stubborn and not want to come out. Well, don't throw it like I did, but lay it over to the side. That's your other gear right there. Sorry, I didn't mean to get it that close to the camera. And now there are 3 bolts up here for the cylinder head. Looks like 3 10 millimeters, and we're gonna have to take. I'm gonna take these plugs out on the front as well. I think they hold the tensioner guides on. So let me do that. They look like they're Allen's, probably 6 millimeters. I'm gonna take those out just so the guides can move around and not get caught on here as well. So we got the timing chain guide bolts out and got these 3 on the front. The long one goes in the middle, the short goes on the outside. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take, we're going to take out these Allen head bolts. They should be 10 millimeters. Let me see. Here's the socket set that I'm using. Oh, the plugs, they're like a 6 millimeter, by the way. Yeah, they're 10 millimeters. So I'm gonna get an adapter so I can adapt this down to a up to a 1/2 inch, and I'm gonna use my breaker bar and break these loose. And hold on, let me show you how we're going to do this real quick. So you're going to get it right in the middle, and you're going to hit it with a hammer a couple times like that, and then you'll break them loose. And it's saying that it should break loose easy without breaking the head bolts. We're going to try the theory and see how it goes. About forgot to film me pulling it out. Also, still had 2 bolts break on me even after doing it that way, but better than all of the bolts breaking on me. Trying to see which way would be the best way to do this. You can see the issue. There's a connector down there, and this AC line does not. Ow! Don't pinch my fingers. All right, much better. And I don't see anything concerning with that cylinder, so that's good. Well, let's take a look at the head itself then. Alright, so here it is without the head. I haven't shown y'all the head yet, but that's what it looks like without it. Like I said before, nothing looks concerning really to me. It's just there's a broken bolt right there, and then there's a broken bolt right there. Luckily they're fairly shallow, and I should be able to get them out, because without any tension on them from the head being on here, we should be fine to get a drill and get it in there and probably reverse them out. No problem. At least that's what I'm hoping. But let me show you the head. There it is right there. I'll keep from knocking it over on me. That is cylinder 5. It should be open, but it doesn't look like it's really too bad, but just have to see what it looks like once we pull the cams out of it and everything. But all the other cylinders look fairly good, but you can tell those right there look really clean. It's hard to see up inside of the valves too. I'm hoping there's no crack in the head. That's what I'm hoping also. But we're going to take it to the machine shop, let them, they're going to clean it, they're going to do an airflow test on it, make sure they're still good, and they're going to do all that stuff, make sure everything else is good on it. So, but, oh, let me show you the crack on this a little bit better. It's right there. And it comes from here and goes all the way around the back. So, but we got her off. I'm going to go ahead and try to pull these out probably here in the next day or two, because I said it's going to take about a week to get this head done. They're going to put new seals, guides, maybe seats, depending on how they are, and then we're going to recut the valves and check everything and set the valve lash and all that stuff for me too, and they're going to clean it if everything comes out good. That's pretty much taking a cylinder head off one of these. I will show the install on the next video. I said it's going to take about a week to get this head back, so while waiting on the head, I'm going to get these two broken studs out, or bolts out of here. Luckily they're pretty shallow and they're not going to be too hard to get to. But if y'all got any questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comment section below. I'll get to them as soon as possible. If y'all think anything I ought to do while I got the head off, let me know as well. And next video will be me putting it back on. I'll show you all the part numbers and stuff of the whole kit that we're going to get. But y'all remember, torque this tight. Y'all have a great day.